about a minute or so, we're going to have a testimony from an eyewitness here, which may well be quite revealing, because at the moment, all we seem to know is this 53-year-old man is in custody. He will be being interrogated at the moment. I mean, Mark, this is just, you know, you hate to say it, but this is just the latest in a long line, whatever the motive here may be, it's the latest in a long line of just incredibly tragic incidents. It just feels like Britain is a bit of a powder keg at the moment, that things like this used to be these kind of rare, out-of-the-blue incidents. And now, whether it's things like people wielding machetes on the London Underground or on public transport generally, or you know, massive incidents like that, just lawlessness. You look at an incident like this and you think, gosh, you know, it's just devastating to see.
No, you're absolutely right. And I think the points that Duncan Garden was making just a short time ago were pretty pertinent to this issue as well. That, of course, everybody instantly wants to know, was it a terrorist attack? Was it not? The fact is that vehicles have been used as weapons by individuals wanting to cause death and destruction for all manner of reasons. It doesn't necessarily have to be terrorism, but can be shocking and horrific and just absolutely condemned. So we await really word from the police as to, one, whether they believe it was a deliberate ramming attack. If it was, whether there was actually any political motivation here, i.e. a terrorist attack, or whether it might have been something a bit more murky. Remember, of course, Southport, the very same police force with Merseyside, to this day, they still say that they couldn't get a fixed ideology for Axel Rudikabana, who carried out that horrific attack, but that he was perhaps influenced by lots of different ideologies. But it was a horrific attack by someone who wanted to carry out death and destruction on a massive scale, and he did just that. And we know, as I said, that vehicles have been used to very deadly effect all across Europe and America too in recent months and years. And we just think back to what has been happening on the continent, in Germany in particular, France as well, in recent months, where vehicles again have been used to ram into people and to cause death and destruction. In America too, also causing absolute horrific scenes in those particular countries. And in this country too, we've also experienced vehicles being used as weapons. I remember back in the day in 2017 reporting on the Westminster Bridge attack, when a vehicle was first used to plough into people on crowded Westminster Bridge before, of course, the terrorist attacker went round to the Houses of Parliament and stabbed to death PC Keith Palmer. And then also in that year we saw the terrorist attack on London Bridge, where again this time a van was used by the terrorists to plough into pedestrians who were on London Bridge before those three terrorists went off into Borough Market stabbing individuals as well. So we are no strangers in this country to vehicles being used in this manner as well. So that again will be uppermost in the thinking of those counter-terrorism detectives who are assisting Merseyside Police. Merseyside Police, we should say, still have the lead in this investigation, but they've called on the expertise of counter-terrorism policing Northwest to help them in the piecing together exactly what happened, and of course delving into the background of who on earth this 53-year-old man was behind the wheel of this vehicle. Was he known to the authorities? Was there issues at play, something in this person's background that points to perhaps a more sinister motive for what happened, or whether this was completely out of the blue and out of character? That will be pieced together as a matter of urgency. Whether we'll get those facts or not, I'm not quite sure. But we have, Patrick, been getting some information a bit more quickly pertinent information from Merseyside Police, learning some lessons from Southport, knowing that the vacuum that was created by a lack of information in the early hours after that incident led to all kinds of information and speculation out on social media that lots of people, of course, we know afterwards got into some trouble for. So now the police at least getting out the fact that he was 53, he was white, British, make of that what you will, but at least that information is out there, and it is clearly an attempt by Merseyside Police to try to stop some of the rampant speculation that you might get online. But as to what this individual's motivation was, if it was a deliberate ramming attack, that we don't know at this stage.
Yeah, exactly. Look, Mark, thank you very much for this. I'm just going to talk you through some footage that I'm looking at online at the moment, and this appears to be the lead up to the incident. Okay, and there's a grey people carrier, the vehicle that you can clearly see in other videos, that has then gone on and driven through the crowd of people, and there are fans there who are punching the back window, punching the doors. The vehicle at this point is stationary, and there are other vehicles on the road, so it's not the only car other than emergency services that are on the road. Okay, so the vehicle appears to be stationary. For whatever reason, some people seem to be hitting the back window and the side windows of this vehicle. Absolutely no idea why. Don't know what's led up to that. But then, as the rear windscreen wiper is ripped off and people are again battering the windows, the car then reverses and comes into contact with the man behind, then speeds forward. So this is not a situation where, like you've seen in other incidents with Christmas markets or crowded areas, etc., where a car just comes speeding straight in, and the car was on the road, stationary, with people around it, people enjoying the parade, but then there appears to be something going on with this car. People are punching the back windscreen of the car, they're punching the side of the car, and then the car reverses. It would seem, anyway, in an attempt to try to get the people off the back of his car, and then speeds forward. So it does not seem to be a straightforward kind of cut and dry incident here at the moment. So we will keep you updated as and when we get any more information. At some point soon, we hope we're going to be getting the latest from a variety of different emergency services. There is no motive that's been put out there at this particular moment in time, and we do not have any idea of the number of casualties. However, we can show you now our reporter Jack Carson, who's been at the scene for us all day, getting reaction from somebody who I believe was an eyewitness to this incident. So let's hear what they have to say.
So what is your reaction to what's gone on today?
I just think this absolute tragedy, what we're all witnessing now, mate, is like, I'm going to swear, but who left this road open, honestly? Because all the other roads around the city are like blocked. From 9 a.m. this morning when I'm driving around, they was all blocked. And this main road here, this was a recipe for disaster, a perfect storm. And then poor people who basically been ran over there. It was like, this ain't no accident. Why have the council left this road open? And I'm sorry, mate, if that upsets people, but at the end of the day, people need to be held accountable for this, because this is bang out of order, yeah? And I just want to leave it really there, because I think that's like, I'm proper upset over this.
In the video, what are you feeling seeing that video?
Multiple videos, mate, and I don't know, like I say, the numbers, the speculation on like how many people, but the serious injuries going down. Do you get what I mean? It's like, and this road should never have ever been left open. It was inevitable. This was going to happen, wasn't it? So.
And with, of course, today being a day of celebration for Liverpool, it turned so quickly after the parade had finished.
Yeah, I know, because that's what happens when you leave a road open, yeah, and everyone's bevied and cars are driving down. That's going to happen, and then people have been ran over because the do you know what I mean? So.
I'm going to take you straight over to our Home and Security editor, Mark White, now, who I believe has got some update for us from the North West Ambulance Service. Mark.
Well, I was reporting just 50 minutes ago or so about more than a dozen people having been injured. Another source suggesting that actually that may be dozens plural injured in this incident. We have had a statement from Northwest Ambulance Service just now, not on the numbers, but they're saying Northwest Ambulance Service has now cleared the scene following the incident in Liverpool and will be updating on casualty numbers at a press conference scheduled for later tonight. Details of that press conference will be announced shortly. So some significant news there anyway in terms of Northwest Ambulance Service confirming that they have actually now cleared the scene. They've dealt with the last of the casualties at the scene of this incident that unfolded at 6 o'clock this evening. I was reporting, as I say, more than a dozen injured. Now another source saying to me that actually we may be looking at dozens injured as a result of this horrific event that unfolded at 6 o'clock this evening in Liverpool city centre.
Mark, thank you very, very much. An important update that. So the scene itself appears to have been cleared of casualties. That number of casualties, however, may have gone from, say, a dozen to dozens, plural. We'll keep you up to date on all of that. Again, I just want to stress, our thoughts, everyone's thoughts, are with every single person who's been affected here, with the city of Liverpool, with Liverpool fans. It's crossed footballing divides. It's crossed every kind of divide, really. You've even got Manchester United putting out a statement, saying their hearts are with everyone. I am joined by my panel. I'm going to go to former Conservative MP Alex Stafford on this now. Alex, how important is it, do you think, in light of previous incidents, that the police, that the authorities, that our politicians get this right now, get the information right, and tell us what they need to tell us?
Well, yeah, on this sort of absolute devastating day, it's so essential that everyone has the information so people don't jump to conclusions. I think we've all seen, well, most of us have seen the videos go around, the horrific videos go around on Twitter or on the internet, and the authorities know that's going to be out there. They can't sort of hide it anymore. They can't try and sort of control the information. That information is out there, and unless there's official sources telling people what actually is going on, as we've seen in the past, people will interpret it one way or conspiracy theories the other way. So I think it's essential, and I'm very pleased that the police put out the statement hours ago now about the sort of type of person who committed the attack. After all, the video showing the person doing it was clearly a white man in a car, was going out straight away on the internet. So it's good the police are confirming that information, because the last thing you want to do in such a volatile situation, such a febrile atmosphere, I think we've got to be honest, the country itself is quite on tenterhooks about this sort of incident anyway.
Yeah.
The correct information is put out as quickly as possible. And it's good to hear the ambulance service are saying they're going to have a press conference now. They've cleared the scene. Personally, I'd like to have even more information as soon as possible to give people some sort of scale.
Well, on that, actually, I'm going to go back to Mark White, our Home and Security Editor, who I believe has a little bit more information for us now. So Mark's just getting himself locked and loaded and ready for us. But yeah, the latest that we heard from Mark was, firstly, that counter-terrorism police are involved. Secondly, that the number of casualties may indeed be higher than the dozens. Mark, what's the latest, please?
Well, this is now word from the NHS University's Liverpool Hospitals Liverpool group, who are dealing with casualties, and they are being inundated by calls from worried members of the public. You would understand that, but they are now putting out a desperate call to the public not to call them, that they will be in touch with the public as and when they can get the details of those casualties and then get the members of the public informed. This is the statement they've just said. Following the incident in Liverpool city centre this evening, we know that many people are concerned about loved ones. Next of kin will be contacted, so please help us to manage the incident as best as we can by refraining from calling our switchboard. the switchboard is just absolutely jammed. It's understandable. There are many thousands of people who are out on the streets of Liverpool today joining in those celebrations, worried loved ones back home, desperate to know if their family member or friend may have been caught up in this horrific event. But in doing that, they're just basically jamming up the switchboards at this hospital at a time when staff need to be free to concentrate on dealing with the significant number of casualties. As I said just before, it's gone from more than a dozen to now talking in terms of potentially dozens of people who have been injured.